Whoever installed this drywall, it had to have been their first day with minimal instruction. Hi guys, welcome back. So this master bedroom drywall is turning into a drywall nightmare. I don't know who installed this, but it had to have been their first day, and they must have had minimal instruction because it is so bad. I'm going to show you around in a second a lot of the issues that we have found. So yeah, like I said in my last video, it probably would have been easier to just rip all the drywall out and start over, but we're so deep into it now, we're just going to finish it this way. But yeah, this is rough. So yeah, starting out, thought it was going to take one video, 1 week to do all this. No. Thankfully, I have this week off because of the holidays. You're probably watching this in the middle of January, but it is the week between Christmas and New Year's, so I took the week off and I get to do drywall the entire week. So yeah, I'm going to start showing you around, and then we will get into fixing this disaster. So one of the first issues is this seam. This tape needs to come out and then retaped and mudded. Thankfully, this little section of wall, there was just some nails in from pictures, but there's no nails that are popping. The next issue is this wall around the window. I showed you this a little bit in the last video. My boyfriend did rip out all the trim, and we found that there was no insulation behind the trim. So we spray foamed it, and we also needed to take the trim off so we could properly fix that gap. So yeah, more taping and more mudding. Another issue is the seams along the ceiling. They were cracking. Come to find out, there's a deep gap. There was no mud behind the tape, but on top of the tape, there was some really thick mud, so it was not lasting. So we've already pulled the tape off of this side and put some spray foam in it, but we still need to pull this side. So this wall by the entrance ended up being the biggest disaster. For sure had to have been the person's first day. So it was clear that when they were nailing these in, they missed the nail, hit the drywall, broke the drywall. So that's why it was cut out so big, because all the drywall was crumbling out. The light switch we're going to have to replace because it is sticking out of the wall. This tape, they clearly didn't put any mud under the tape, and it looked like they only put one layer of mud over the tape. So we got to fix this corner. All the nails were popping. And then probably the biggest issue is the drywall doesn't go all the way to the bottom plate, so it is not screwed in at the bottom. And the nail popped out right here, and the only way to fix it is we're probably going to have to cut out and patch this so it can actually attach to the bottom and fix that nail issue. So, I don't know if I would have taken this on when I did if I knew it was going to be this much work. We didn't realize it was going to be this much work because of all the furniture being in here. We couldn't see some of these issues, so yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and keep mudding and taping and wrap up this massive drywall project. So then we can get on the fun things like painting and decorating and actually be able to use this room again. Okay, I'm going to start off by sanding all the nail and screw holes I've already done, and then I'll go back and do another layer over them and also fill in all the new ones that we just put in. Okay, I'm gonna go around the rest of the room and finish the sanding off camera, and then I will be back once I start mudding. Got a nice dusty face, so that took a little bit longer than I was expecting. I have all the nail and screw holes sanded, so now I'm gonna go for another round of mud on all of them. Sorry if you hear a lot of noise. It is a downpour outside right now, so definitely a good day to be working inside. So when I was sanding them, some of the nail and screw holes were good with just 2 coats, but some of them do need a 3rd coat, and then there's a lot that need their 1st coat. So yeah, I'm gonna go around and do that real quick. Double check with my boyfriend if we're just filling this massive hole with mud or if we need to do something else with it, along with those 2 other ones that I showed you earlier. I also forgot to mention earlier that this wall, it looked like they painted over all the drywall dust. So the other day I did go through and sand all of this. I should probably sand it again because there is a decent amount of texture, but like, I don't know what these people were doing. This is just ridiculous at this point, how bad it is. Okay, so my boyfriend said to just fill these massive holes a little bit at a time, so that's good. We can go ahead and continue with this. Do a second layer of mud on this corner that I taped the other day. Again, corner trowels, they're amazing. Welcome back for another day of mudding. I was mudding a little bit more yesterday, but I forgot to hit record. And then my boyfriend got home and he ended up started ripping out all that tape that I showed you that needed to come out. So today I'm going to be going over all the nails and screws again. I'm really hoping that about 80% of them, I just need to sand them one more time and they'll be completely done. And then I'm going to start taping some of those corners. I am going to switch over to the finer sandpaper because, like I said, I'm really hoping this is the last round for like 80% of the screws and nails. All right, let's get to sanding. Feeling really smooth. This one's gonna need another layer, but all the rest are feeling pretty much perfect. I do need to do another layer on this, but I'm also going to be skim coating this wall, so it'll definitely feather out and look a lot better. Kind of wish I was recording. I got a ring light for Christmas, and it is a lemon, and it just fell, like, with my phone on it, on my head twice. So that hurts a little. It fell on my head yesterday too, so definitely gonna return that and get a better one. I definitely prefer mudding over sanding. Sanding's not fun. Alright, time to move on to some more mudding. This is probably the worst hammer hole. I don't know if you can see it snowing, but it's snowing today. Yesterday it was pouring down rain. We also are having like 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts today, so I don't know what's going on with the weather, but I'm glad I'm inside. So this is where my boyfriend took the drywall tape off of. He put some foam up in this corner because, like I said yesterday, There's barely any insulation in this wall, so I need to cut that out. I also need to sand off the rest of the old tape, but I am gonna start taping and mudding up here first. I hope that turns out fine, but it seems like there's still a little bit of a hump, so I guess we'll see. Are way more difficult than just a flat piece. Oh, and this is a long one. If you're wondering how I learned how to do this, I just watched a ton of YouTube videos kind of over the years, but then also recently, right before I started doing this. So, yeah. If you want to learn a skill, the best way to learn is to just do it, you know? We are all a lot more capable than we realize. Everyone was a beginner at some point. You just gotta put in the time and the hours to become proficient at anything. not as good as the professionals, but I'm getting better. Every day I work on this. I don't know how I had the perfect amount of mud for that. I need to move on to finish sanding this little bit of paper off of it. This is where some old tape was, and we just want a better fresh start. So yeah, we pretty much just want to start over essentially, and it seems like they skim coated this entire room, so we kind of want to fade this out some as well. We're gonna let that dry, and then I think I might put some of that guards over this before I tape it. Okay, so I am sanding off the worst of the last of the paper that was taken off. I'm just gonna get the worst of it off, and then I'm gonna go over it with that guard sealer. That way I'm not here for 20 minutes just doing this little section. Alright, so I need to run to the store in the morning. There's not much else I can do today. I need to get a foam brush for that sealer. I need to get more drywall compound, so tomorrow I'm definitely going to be skim coating at least part of that messed up wall from the wallpaper, so that'll be exciting. I think getting that skim coat is really going to make it feel like this project is taking shape and that the drywall is almost done. Yeah, I'm getting pretty frustrated with whoever did this drywall originally. But yeah, all the drywall will definitely be done in this video. And then the next video, we're definitely going to be painting and priming. So today we're going to finally be skim coating this wall. I feel like I've been talking about skim coating this for like 2 weeks, but today it's finally going to get done, and I feel like this is going to actually start making the room look less like a disaster and starting to actually be finished. So that's going to be really exciting. I do need to start with pulling a little bit more trim off the wall, and then I need to mix up a bunch of mud and we'll get started. That is just breaking. That's great. These are massive nails. takes a nail that thick into a little bit of trim? That's ridiculous. Alright, so I have everything prepped and ready to go. I did a little bit of sanding on this corner to make sure this is smooth before I start. But yeah, let's get into this, and I really hope this goes well and looks good. Tutorial I watched, it said a consistency of thin yogurt. Not thin yogurt, definitely like yogurt or thick yogurt. So yeah. Alright. I'm going to finish up with the mud that I've already mixed. And then I guess we'll start over. Alright, we're going to try with some thicker mud on this side of the wall. Hopefully this works a little bit better. I hate that you have to work with it so fast. Makes it stressful. Ridiculous. Try that longer one. Kind of just messed it all up. I'm definitely gonna have to do another layer. Kind of figured I'd have to do 2 coats, but like, yeah, I messed it up with trying to use this one. Such a mess and not fun. Ugh. If I had a bigger bucket, it'd probably be a little bit easier, but because having to dump it from the bucket into the paint tray is making it such a big mess than it needs to be. I think that's probably all I'm going to do today. I mean, it's working, but I kind of need to regroup and like wrap my head around it, maybe get a bigger bucket so I can do this a little bit easier, but yeah. I knew it was going to be hard, but like, it's just, I wasn't expecting it to be so messy and just, you know, and everyone's saying the wrong consistency, so then I did half the wall wrong, and yeah, so, all right. I will either see you later today or I'll be back tomorrow. All right, I'm back. I have a little bit more mud left, so I'm gonna go ahead and tape this corner. I got a new bag of joint compound today, and definitely get this stuff that lasts either 45 or 90 minutes, because the bag we previously had only lasts, you can only work with it for 20 minutes, and like, it was so much harder. This stuff stays looser longer, so like, it's making it easier to work with. I did use that guard sealer on this corner and the other corner by the door and the seam below the window, just because there was some cardboard showing, so definitely don't want that to swell. The other day I was getting pretty discouraged and frustrated while I was doing the skim coat. The skim coat had pros and cons for both the thick and thin coat. The thick coat required more sanding and the thin coat needed less sanding, but we ended up sanding off too much and sanded off the sealer as well. So when a second skim coat was put on, it absorbed into the paper and it swelled, so some paper had to be cut out and remudded. This drywall has been nothing but problem after problem after problem. The past few days, my boyfriend and I have just been putting our heads down and getting this done. We weren't too concerned about filming, we just wanted to get this part over. The drywall is finally done. Going into this project, we just thought we were going to be skim coating this wall, fixing 2 of the seams, and redoing some of the nail and screw holes. But there ended up being probably double the nail and screw holes that we thought. Every seam except for 2 of them had to be redone, and there ended up being texture on part of the walls that we didn't realize. So yeah, when people say expect a DIY project to take longer than you expect and that you will probably find some hidden problems, they are definitely right. Next week, we'll finally get to priming and painting this wall. I'm excited to move on to something other than drywall. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this week, and I will see you next Sunday.